In today's topic, we're going to take a look at cyberbullying and different prevention strategies against it. So when we first think of cyberbullying, I want you to think of what are some different types of cyberbullying. You're going to work in your teams, take 3 minutes to discuss, and then you're going to complete a quick write to identify the different forms of cyberbullying. Once you complete this team talk task, we're going to work as a whole class and see if you can identify the different forms of cyberbullying that I'm going to show you on the list on the next slide. Okay, so coming back together, it looks like we did identify many of the forms of cyberbullying that we have listed here. Some of them include sending mean or threatening messages to a person's email account or their social media account or even to their personal cell phone. It could include spreading rumors online or through texts. It could also include posting hurtful or threatening messages on social networking sites or different internet web pages. It could even be stealing a person's account information to break into their account and send damaging messages, or pretending to be someone else online to hurt another person. These are all different forms of cyberbullying. What are some of the results of cyberbullying? What can it lead to? Well, in many instances, especially among teens, it can lead to anxiety or depression or even suicide. Some alarming statistics include over 50% of teens have experienced cyberbullying of some form or some type. More than 1 in 3 adolescents have even experienced threats online. And only 1 in 10 teens will go to someone of authority, whether it's a parent, law enforcement, or teacher, about being harassed online. And fewer than 1 in 5 cyberbullying incidents are reported to law enforcement. Mean and hurtful comments, spreading rumors are the most common types of cyberbullying that exists. So what can we do to prevent it? What are some preventative strategies against cyberbullying? Some of them include talking to an adult. If you are experiencing cyberbullying, go to somebody, tell somebody that you trust, somebody that can help in the situation, whether it's an adult, a teacher, a parent, or law enforcement. Another strategy that you can use is by blocking the person who is sending the messages. Block them. Don't allow messages to be sent by that person. It is so critical and important to never, ever give away your password or any personal information. Never make plans to meet someone that you meet online. This could put yourself in a dangerous situation. And don't share anything via text or social media that you do not want to make public. Everything that you put out there in some form, shape, or way can be made public. And it's so important to learn how to be a digital citizen. So you know what? We're going to take some time and we're going to play a game. We're going to play a game of how you can prepare yourself against cyberbullying, how you cannot be a cyberbully yourself, and how you in today's society can be a digital citizen. Are you ready? Here's what our game looks like. Be a digital citizen. You see on here skull bones, you see stars, and you see QR code readers. Guess what? In this game, you are going to be allowed to use your cell phones, to use your phones and your QR readers to read some of those QR codes to give you the helpful information that you need to win the game. But be careful of those skull crossbones and look for those stars. Hopefully you can land on them and help advance your possibility of a win. So how do we play? Here are some of the rules. You're going to divide into teams of 4. Each of you are going to receive the following: a game board, a set of die, a set of red star cards, a set of skull and crossbone cards, QR code cards, and game pieces. You're going to ensure that each of your cards have been shuffled and are face down in their appropriate piles on their side of the game board. Each player on your team is going to roll the dice to see who goes first by rolling the higher number. Higher number roll, that person gets to go first. The person who goes first is going to roll the dice and move the player piece forward squares, the number of squares as the dice indicates. If the piece lands on an empty square, the turn is over and the next player will continue. If the piece lands on a skull and crossbones square, the player is going to draw the appropriate card and move their game piece as indicated. Then their turn is over. If the piece lands on a red star square, The player must draw the appropriate card and move their game piece as indicated. If the game piece lands on a QR code diamond, the player is going to acquire the appropriate QR code diamond card information from the teacher, scan the QR code with their QR code reader, and then fill in the appropriate information on your study guide so that you have an appropriate study guide for when it comes time to quizzing or testing. Every member must fill out the study guide when a QR code is revealed. Once the player has completed their turn, it is the next player's turn, and steps 4 through 8 are then repeated. The first player to reach the finish square wins the game. Here are some examples of what you might see on the red star squares. Remember, those red star cards will help to advance you. For example, the first one says, "Way to fight against the cyberbullying. You chose not to give the bully any more power and didn't respond to the hurtful post about you on social media. Move to the next QR code card space." Another example, "Great job being there for your friend who has been harassed by the cyberbully. You noticed that they were feeling depressed and had low self-esteem because of the harassment. Now go report it to a person who can take care of that situation. Move ahead 2 spaces." You can see that the red star cards help you advance in this game. But be careful of the skull and crossbone cards. If you land on a square that shows a skull and crossbone card, it might say one of the following. "You were caught saying inappropriate, harassing remarks on social media. Don't be a cyberbully. Move back 2 spaces and lose a turn." Another card you might draw if you land on a skull and crossbone might read, "You were caught giving personal information to a stranger in a chat room. That is very dangerous. You need time to think about that choice and make better choices next time. Move back 2 spaces and lose 2 turns." These are some of the examples of the cards that you might receive and show you how you might go forward or backwards in the game depending on what you draw. As you get to the QR codes, the information is going to give you helpful information for your study guide for your quiz. Have fun!